dropped, and it's pretty awkward for Democrats right now. If you haven't heard the news, I'm about to summarize the allegations being made against Tim Walz for rampant SA against minor students at the schools where he worked. And I say it's getting awkward because we just went through multiple years of believe every victim that accused Trump of literally everything under the sun with very little evidence to corroborate it. And these claims against Walz have not been corroborated yet in a major way, but at the end, you'll see why I think we're about to find out. And personally, I don't think it's looking good for Tim. Now, the story is being broken by DocNet YouTube on X, and this is entirely credit to his work, his ongoing work with child victims, and he's the one that's receiving these emails. He's the one that's publishing them. Go follow him on X. And it started on August 1st of this year when he received an email that said, "Hi, Doc. He was a teacher of mine at Alliance High School in Nebraska." This person said that because of Doc's work with child trafficked children, that's why he reached out to Doc. He says that Walz manipulated him, did unspeakable things to me. I can give you details that nobody else can, including later on specific details about tattoos and scars that Walz apparently has on his body in places that you would only know about if you had been intimate. But we'll get there in a minute, and I'm gonna try to make this video at least Instagram friendly, although I'm not gonna be posting it to TikTok. So I'm gonna let you pause and read between the lines if you wanna know all the details that this says. But this kid alleges, not a kid anymore, this is back in the 90s, but they allege they were 14 years old when they met Tim Walz. Then describes what can only be described as grooming in a major way, including being invited to a Indigo Girls concert by his teacher, by his assistant coach. Allegedly, it was just this young boy and Tim Walz at the concert, and then major grooming ensues. Then the spice happens at the end. Overwhelmingly tired from the drinks, maybe, who knows. And then they drive home. And this whole email is like the spicy details about what apparently allegedly happened on the first outing with Tim Walz. I'll summarize it for you. You can screenshot and wait and look if you want, but basically Tim Walz took him to a gay bar allegedly, and then drove him home allegedly, though he doesn't remember that part. And then he sort of comes to while receiving that from Tim, allegedly. And this was just the start of a long, I would continually meet Mr. Walz during 1995. Spent a lot of time with him whenever I could. Can't remember the exact dates. We probably had 10 to 12 sexual encounters. More details to come. The student makes allegations about why Tim Walz was actually fired from his job at that school. And Doc has corroborated in the official records that there's some fishy business about Tim Walz's voluntary leaving of the school, meaning there was like a DUI involved, and the school board voted unanimously 6-0 to kick Tim Walz out. And then just this morning, this alleged victim released a legal statement basically saying that they're gonna also go after this whole thing with the full force of the law. They're gonna go public. So far, they've just been leaking information to Doc on X. It's gonna blow up way bigger than that. Doc just posted this from the accuser this morning. They include that this is one of the students that accompanied Tim Walz and others on his trip to China. When Tim Walz received his DUI, it was after an evening spent with this accuser. This whole paragraph is kind of interesting in its implications, if true. And then here are the special details about Tim Walz's body that you would only know if you had been intimate. And so if these details are true, then yeah. That includes a raised scar on his chest, a Chinese symbol tattoo on his upper thigh, a small scar on his left arm that was more like a soft burn. Yeah, anyways, this is just getting started. It's all breaking day by day by day right now on X, which is where actual news is happening today. If you're not already there, highly recommend you go there because everything else is just reporting about what's happening there. I'm not even allowed to post this video in most places because censorship. So like my TikTok audience, not even gonna see this video. They're gonna have no idea. But that's the state of play at this point in the election. And to be honest, when I look at him, it kind of fits the bill. I am not that surprised if this is true.